Uh, hello again. Last time we left off on. Oh, wait, I apologize for long waiting. I guess you can just read everything that happened on the profile page, I guess. But we left off on chapter 4, and I really can't summarize it, and I doubt we should even read through any of it again. But we're on chapter 5 now. The trouble started a few weeks ago when Stephanie suddenly got bored. It was about 10 o'clock at night. We were out haunting the neighborhood. We did our terrifying wolf howl again outside Gina Jeffers' window. Then we went next door to Terry Abel's house. We put some chicken bones in her mailbox, just because it's creepy to reach in your mailbox and feel bones. Then we crept across the street to Ben Fuller's house. Ben was our last stop for the night. Ben is a kid in our class, and we have a special scare for him. You see, he's afraid of bugs, which makes him really easy to scare. Even though it's pretty cold out, he sleeps with his bedroom window open. So Stephanie and I like to step up to his window and toss rubber spiders onto Ben as he sleeps. The rubber spiders tickle his face. He wakes up and starts to scream. Every time. He always thinks the spiders are real. Then he screams and tries to scramble out of bed. He gets all tangled in his covers and thuds onto the floor. Then Stephanie and I congratulate each other on a job well done, and we go home to bed. But tonight, as I tossed the rubber spiders at Ben's sleeping face, Stephanie turned to me and whispered, "I just had a great idea." "Huh?" I started to reply, but Ben's scream interrupted me. We listened to his scream, and to him scream, and then thud to the floor. Stephanie and I slapped each other a high five. Then we took off, running across the dark backyards, our sneakers thumping the hard, nearly frozen ground. We stopped in front of the split oak tree in my front yard. The tree trunk is completely split in two, but Dad doesn't have the heart to have the tree taken away. "What is your great idea?" I asked Stephanie breathlessly. Her dark eyes flashed. "I've been thinking. Every time we go to haunt the neighborhood, we scare the same old kids. It's starting to get boring." I wasn't bored, but I knew that once Stephanie gets an idea, there's no stopping her. "So, do you want to find some new kids to scare?" I asked. "No, not new kids. Something else." She began to walk around the tree, circling it. "We need a new challenge." "Like what?" I asked. "Our scares are all kid stuff," she complained. "We make some spooky sounds, toss a few things inside an open window, and then everyone is frightened to death. It's too easy." "Yeah," I agreed, "but it's funny." She ignored me. She stuck her head through the split in the tree trunk. "Dwayne, what's the scariest place in Wheeler Falls?" That was easy. "Hill House, of course," I answered. "Right, and what makes it so scary?" "All the ghost stories, but especially the one about the boy searching for his head." "Yes!" Stephanie cried. All I could see now was her head poking through the split oak tree. "The headless ghost!" she cried. "The headless ghost!" she cried in a deep voice, and let out a long, scary laugh. I can't do a laugh. I'm sorry. What's your problem?" I demanded. "Are you trying to hunt me now?" Her head seemed to float in the darkness. We need to hunt Hill House," she declared in a whisper. Chapter 6. "Excuse me?" I cried. "Stephanie, what are you talking about?" "We'll take the Hill House tour and sneak off on our own," Stephanie replied thoughtfully. I shook my head. "Give me a break. Why would we do that?" Stephanie's face seemed to glow, floating by itself in the tree trunk. "We'll sneak off on our own to search for the ghost's head." I stared back at her. "You're kidding, right?" I walked behind the tree and tugged her away from it. The floating head trick was starting to give me the creeps. "No, Dwayne, I'm not kidding," she replied, shoving me away. "We need a challenge. We need something new. Prowling around the neighborhood, terrifying everyone we know. That's just kid stuff." "Boring." "You don't believe the story about the missing head, do you?" I protested. "It's just a ghost story. We can search and search, but there is no head. It's all a story they made up for the tourists." Stephanie narrowed her eyes at me. "I think you're scared, Dwayne." "Huh? Me?" My voice got pretty shrill. A cloud rolled over the moon, making my front yard even darker. A chill ran down my back. I pulled my jacket around me tighter. "I'm not afraid to sneak off from the tour and search Hill House on our own," I told Stephanie. "I just think it's a big waste of time. Dwayne, you're shivering, she teased, shivering with fright. I am not, I screamed. Come on, let's go to Hill House, right now. I'll show you. A grin spread over Stephanie's face. She tossed back her head and let out a long howl, a victory howl. This is going to be the coolest thing the Twin Terrors have ever done, she cried, slapping me a high five that made my hand sting. She dragged me up Hill Street. The whole way there, I didn't say one word. Was I afraid? Maybe a little. We climbed the steep, weed-choked hill and stood before the front steps of Hill House. The old house looked even bigger at night. 3 stories tall, with turrets and balconies and dozens of windows, all dark and shuttered. All the houses in our neighborhood are brick or clapboard. Hill House is the only one made of stone slabs, dark gray slabs. I always have to hold my breath when I stand close to Hill House. The stone is covered with a blanket of thick green moss. 200 years of it. Putrid, moldy moss that doesn't exactly smell like a flower garden. You don't say. I'm sorry. Back to reading. I peered up at the round turret that stretched to the purple sky. A gargoyle. That's actually a real dragon. Did you know that? Anyways, a gargoyle carved in stone perched at the very top. It grinned down at us as if challenging us to go inside. My knees suddenly felt weak. The house stood in total darkness except for a single candle over the front doorway, but the tours were still going on. The last tour left at 10:30 every night. That's 30 minutes. No, never mind. I'm going back to it. The guide said the late tours were the best time to see a ghost. I read the sign etched in stone beside the door. Enter Hill House and you'll be changed forever. I read that sign 100 times. I always thought it was funny, in a corny sort of way, but tonight it gave me the creeps. Tonight was going to be different. Come on, Stephanie said, pulling me by the hand. We're just in time for the next tour. The candle flickered. The heavy wooden door swung open by itself. I don't know how, but it always does that. Well, are you coming or not? Stephanie demanded, stepping into the dark entryway. Coming, I gulped. Otto met us. Chapter 7. Otto met us as we stepped inside the door. Otto always reminds me of an enormous dolphin. He has a big, smooth, bald head, and he's sort of shaped like a dolphin. He must weigh about 300 pounds. Otto was dressed entirely in black, as always. Black shirt, black pants, black socks, black shoes, and gloves. You guessed it, black. It's the uniform that all the tour guides wear. Look who's here, he called. Stephanie and Dwayne. He broke out into a wide grin. His tiny eyes flashed in the candlelight. Our favorite guides, Stephanie greeted him. Are we in time for the next tour? We pushed through the turnstile without paying. We're such regulars at Hill House that they don't even charge us anymore. About 5 minutes, guys, Otto told us. About 5 minutes, guys, Otto told us. You two are out late tonight, huh? Yeah, well, Stephanie hesitated. It's more fun to take the tour at night, isn't it, Dwayne? She jabbed my side. You can say that again, I mumbled. We moved into the front hall with some others who were waiting for the tour to begin. Teenagers mostly, out on dates. The front hall is bigger than my living room and dining room put together, and except for the winding staircase in the center, it's completely bare, no furniture at all. Shadows tossed across the floor. I gazed around the room. No electric lights. Small torches were hung from the peeling, cracked walls. The orange torchlight flickered and bent. In the dancing light, I counted the people around me. 9 of them. Stephanie and I were the only kids. Otto lighted a lantern and crossed to the front of the hall. He held it up high and cleared his throat. Stephanie and I grinned at each other. Otto always starts the tour the same way. He thinks the lantern adds atmosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, he boomed. Welcome to Hill House. We hope you will survive your tour tonight. Then he gave a low, evil laugh. Stephanie and I mouthed Otto's next words along with him. In 1795, a prosperous sea captain, William P. Bell, built himself a home on the highest hill in Wheeler Falls. It was the finest home ever built here at the time. 3 stories high, 9 fireplaces, and over 30 rooms. Captain Bell spared no expense. Why? Because he hoped to retire here and finish his days in splendor with his young and beautiful wife. But it was not to be. Otto cackled, and so did Stephanie and I. We knew every move Otto had. Otto went on. Captain Bell died at sea in a terrible shipwreck, before he ever had a chance to live in his beautiful house. His young bride, Annabelle, fled the house in horror and sorrow. Now Otto's voice dropped. But soon after Annabelle left, strange things began to happen in Hill House. This was Otto's cue to start walking toward the winding stairs. The old wooden staircase is narrow and creaky. When Otto starts to climb, the stairs groan and grumble beneath him as if in pain. Keeping silent, we followed Otto up the stairs to the first floor. Stephanie and I love this part because Otto doesn't say a word the whole time. He just huffs along in the darkness while everyone tries to keep up with him. He starts talking to him when he reaches Captain Bell's bedroom. Sorry, I'm a bit tired right now, but a big wood-paneled room with a fireplace and a view of the river. Soon after Captain Bell's widow ran away, Otto reported. People in Wheeler Falls began reporting strange sightings of a man who resembled Captain Bell. He was always seen here, standing by his window, holding his lantern aloft. Otto moved to the window and raised his lantern. On a windless night, if you listened carefully, you could sometimes hear his voice calling out her name in a low, mournful voice. Otto took a deep breath and then called softly, "Annabelle, Annabelle, Annabelle." Otto swung the lantern back and forth for effect. By now he had everyone's complete attention. "But of course, there's more," he whispered. As we followed him through the upstairs rooms, Otto told us about how Captain Bell haunted the house for about 100 years. People who moved into Hill House tried all kinds of ways to get rid of the ghost, but it was determined to stay. Then Otto told everyone about the boy finding the ghost and getting his head pulled off. Ghost of the sea captain vanished. The headless ghost of the boy continued to haunt the house, but that wasn't the end of it. Into the long, dark hallway now, torches darting and flickering along the walls. Tragedy continued to haunt Hill House, Otto continued. Shortly after young Andrew Crawl's death, his 12-year-old sister Hannah went mad. "Let's go to her room next." He led us down the hall to Hannah's room. Stephanie loves Hannah's room. Stephanie collected porcelain dolls. What did I say, Stephanie? It was Hannah. Hannah collected porcelain dolls, and she had hundreds of them, all with the same long yellow hair, painted rosy cheeks, and blue-tinted eyelids. After her brother was killed, Hannah went crazy, Otto told us all in a hushed voice. All day long, for 80 years, she sat in her rocking chair over there in the corner, and she played with her dolls. She never left her room, ever. He pointed to a rocking chair. Hannah died there, an old lady surrounded by her dolls. The floorboards creaked under him as Otto crossed the room. Setting the lantern down, he lowered his big body into the rocking chair. The chair made a cracking sound. I always think Otto was going to crush it. He started to rock, slowly. The chair groaned with each move. We all watched him in silence. "Some people swear that poor Hannah is still here," he said softly. "They say they've seen a young girl sitting in this chair, combing a doll's hair." He rocked slowly, letting the idea sink in. "And then we come to the story of Hannah's mother." Sorry. With a grunt, Otto pulled himself to his feet. He grabbed up the lantern and made his way to the top of the long, dark stairway at the end of the hall. Soon after her son's tragedy, the mother met her own terrible fate. She was on her way down these stairs one night when she tripped and fell to her death. Otto gazed down the stairs and shook his head sadly. He does this every time. As I said, Stephanie and I know his every move. But we hadn't come here tonight to watch Otto perform. I knew that sooner or later Stephanie would want to get going. So I started glancing around to see if it was a good time for us to sneak away from the others, and that's when I saw the strange kid, watching us. I didn't see him when we first came in. In fact, I'm sure he wasn't there when the tour started. I had counted 9 people, no kids. The boy was about our age, with wavy blonde hair and pale skin, very pale skin. He was wearing black jeans and a black turtleneck that made his face look even whiter. I edged over to Stephanie. She was hanging back from the group. "You ready?" she whispered. Otto had started back down the stairs. If we were going to sneak away from the tour, now was the time. But I could see that weird kid still staring at us, staring hard. He was giving me the creeps. "We can't go. Someone's watching us," I whispered to Stephanie. "Who?" "That weird kid over there," I motioned with my eyes. He was still staring at us. He didn't even try to be polite and turn away when we caught him. Why was he watching us like that? What was his problem. Something told me we should wait. Something told me not to hide from the others just yet. But Stephanie had other ideas. Forget him, she said. He's nobody. She grabbed my arm and tugged. Let's go. We pressed against the cold wall of the hallway and watched the others follow Otto down the stairs. I held my breath until I heard the last footsteps leave the stairway. We were alone now, alone in the long, dark hall. I turned to Stephanie. I could barely see her face. Now what? I asked. And since that was chapter 8, we have to wait for the next part to read the next 4 chapters. And, I don't know anymore. Good night, I guess.